Mamma mia, che cazzo! Milan is not there mentally against the little teams. Explain to me how you beat the reigning champions Napoli down to a man and let newly promoted bottom team table Pisa score 2 goals. Pisa and Cremonese have scored more goals on us than Juve, Napoli and Bologna combined. Please explain it why. Best way to describe it. Well, snap back to reality. We got excited too early this season. I say Milan has a problem with small teams because they underestimated them. After the first goal, our boys was walking. Guys, this is a community reaction. I'm gonna read some of the comments that you guys left on my last video. Also to have a general feeling of the community, how we live at this match against Pisa. Clearly, I can tell you that everyone was expecting the 3 points. Eventually, just 1 point with the last minute goal of Etakame. That he was so random, that goal. It was not incredible, in my opinion, so far away on the first touch. Really, really great goal. Happy for the guy, of course, but this small point that we brought home, yes, it leaves us undefeated, but it tastes very much like a loss. That's the reality. We had a chance, especially with the match that is going to be playing tonight in between Napoli and Inter, that we could have really have a chance to, do a little runaway. But instead, tonight we will see what's going to happen in big match. Also, there is Roma playing against Sassuolo, that they are just 1 point behind us. So we could literally end up after this match day in the 3rd position. We will see. Reader Brother say, I'm seriously worried about our midfield. We didn't have any midfielders on the bench this game, and in 4 days we're going to play in Atalanta with the same midfield, and I don't know if we are going to have anyone on the bench in that game either. And that, in my opinion, it is the second biggest problem that we are facing right now, which is the ability of having not only midfielder, but different options. Because yesterday, Milan went against Pisa with this substitution available. Atekame, Nkunku, then we got the goalkeeper Terracciano, we got Odogu, which is a defender, Fikayo Tomori, Emanuele Sala and Matteo Pittarelli. The players that they subs in later, they really have a chance to create something new and completely change the vibe of the match. Last night, Allegri didn't have many chances. Actually had one chance to do it, which was playing Nkunku. Now, in my opinion, but I am nobody, maybe I will have risk to play 3 strikers instead of changing a striker for a striker. Nkunku for Santiago Gimenez. Anyway, you are still drawing at home against Pisa. Why not try to score a goal? Instead, Allegri preferred the balance. And it didn't really matter, because even though he did that substitution, we still conceded a goal after that substitution. Just with luck and a little bit more of grinta, eventually, we found the draw. Exactly, look at these comments. Allegri's substitution didn't really work. Leão and Nkunku is a bad combo. Exactly like these comments. Look, Allegri's substitution didn't really work. Leão plus Nkunku is a bad combo because both prefer playing on the left. I think Nkunku Gimenez would work. Also, I don't get the point of bringing in Atekame. Yes, he scored, but it was a lucky goal after his error resulted in a goal. Finally, Ruben Loftus-Cheek needed to replace Fofana in the lineup when he's healthy. Fofana is awful. Now, the comments over Fofana, guys, they are horrible. And last night we saw once again all the limitation of this player, because he was constantly trying to play as an attacking midfielder. Meanwhile, he's everything but not an attacking midfielder. Yusuf Fofana is good at recovering, he's good at physicality, he's good to play in the back, but definitely we cannot give him the We cannot give him the intelligence of trying to create football. That's not for Fofana. That's probably is not even for Ricci, in my opinion. It's only for Modrić or Rabiot. Look at the Superman. It's clear that the quality of our midfield decreased without Rabiot and Pulisic. We really underestimate the work Pulisic does defensively, dropping back to help the midfield. Today, it looked like the midfield was very disorganized because everyone was going forward and no one except for Modrić stayed back to help the defense. Fofana and Ricci were out of position every time we lost the ball, and there was a lot of space for Pisa to run. It did look like a bad midfield from last year. The defense was caught sleeping and it cost us goal because the guy were out of position. I wish we kept Tammy Abraham instead of Santiago. We need a striker with speed to give the opposite defense something to think about it. Modrić would also be able to play long balls over the top for Tammy. But remember one thing, if you have Tammy Abraham, you didn't have Alexis Saelemaekers. And in my Milan, in my opinion, I'll keep Alexis every single day. He was almost to score the goal of the entire season at minus 97. Mamma mia. Archer really show how much we need Pulisic back. Pulisic and Santi up top wouldn't lost this game. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think really it's about the player, the single player. I think it's more about the mentality of the team that this time they were after scoring the goal after 6 minutes. In the first 20-25, we should have scored right away another goal to bring the match in 2-0. I think that was the biggest mistake. I think that was the biggest mistake to not try to say, guys, we need to finish this first half at 2-0. There was not many big chances. Look at that. This is the stats from SofaScore on the first half. Expected goal 0.35 for Milan. Big chances created 0. Total shots 7. So yes, we had some shots, but nothing really dangerous. In my opinion, also the Pisa in the second half, they started really well. In the first 15 minutes, they had already a couple of shots, and Quadrato, it seems like really in a good shape, like when he was back at Juventus. He caused also the penalty, and Milan in that moment, in my opinion, should have even more increased even more the rhythm of the match. But we didn't have the player to do that. Exactly. Even at the stadium where I was, you could sense that they could have won easily if they had taken few more risks. In my opinion, the mistakes was not trying harder to make it 2-0. Everyone knows this typical pattern of play where you are the favorite, you take the lead with the goal early on and you relax. And in the end, you concede the equalizer. Yet, always happens, in my opinion, these are the little difference that distinguish a top level team. But maybe this helps us to keep our feet on the ground and learn from this experience. Forza Milan. And look at this video at the end of the match, how the players that are all exhausted on the ground, it feels like they gave the 110%, but they simply couldn't make it. This is my opinion, guys. It is a little bit of a reality check. This is a healthy draw, in my opinion. It is a match that, let's be honest, Milan never deserved fully to win 2 or 3-0, okay? It doesn't matter what people think before to say, oh, it's a newly promoted, we're gonna win 4-0. Il campo è il campo, so the pitch is the pitch. Whatever we see on the field is the result of the preparation throughout the week. We started well, we had a good tempo. The fatality, the big mistake was not to try harder to try to get the second goal. Also, when the team came back in the second half, I felt they were kind of tired. I had this feeling that the team, especially when Pisa was finally pushing a little bit, we were not able to maintain ball possessions. And that's a problem of physicality. It's a problem of, keep the tempo with the team that they were playing their best football for the first 50 minutes of the second half, also thanks to a great Cuadrado that caused a lot of problem on the left side. But I think it's extremely important to recover players, especially when we're going to play against Atalanta. Hopefully Loftus-Cheek is coming back. Is he going to have 90 minutes? This one, I don't know. But Milan, it got extremely luck against Fiorentina, and we were happy about that. But today, actually last night, was karma hit us back. So it's a reality check that I'm happy to take, and I'm happy to think that it is going to be a healthy things. It's the big match is going to be against Atalanta. So we will see who we're going to be able to recover, but I'm sure mentally the team wants to do better. All right? Let me know what you think down below.